This video includes discussion of race-based and gender-based violence. Asian American and Pacific Islander, or AAPI, communities in the United States have experienced an alarming number of hate crimes since the start of the COVID-19 pandemic. Those who are perceived as East Asian, which can include people from many different backgrounds, have experienced a surge in hate crimes over the past year. In 16 of the largest U.S. cities, hate crimes against Asian Americans have increased by 150%. A Pew Research study states that 30% of Asians report having experienced hate crimes as a result of the pandemic. These hate crimes include assault and battery, verbal harassment, and much more. On March 16, 2021, a man killed 8 people, 6 of whom were Asian women, in a mass shooting at 3 spas and massage parlors in the Atlanta area, stating that the women were temptations he wished to eliminate. This illustrates that not only do Asians face race-based violence, but also gender-based violence when Asian women are treated as hypersexualized objects. The AAPI community also experiences civil rights violations, such as workplace discrimination, housing discrimination, and exclusion from businesses and public facilities. Transportation has become increasingly difficult, as some taxi and rideshare drivers have avoided taking AAPI customers. AAPI business owners have also seen business decline during the pandemic and have faced discrimination accessing loans and other financial assistance. Some AAPI people report that they don't feel safe walking alone in public or taking their kids out in public for fear of violence and harassment. Prompted by the increases in these forms of harassment, Senator Mazie Hirono and Representative Grace Meng are sponsoring legislation aimed at combating COVID-related hate crimes against Asian Americans. Where did this violence come from? The proximate cause is the origin of the virus. Based on the genome of SARS-CoV-2, virologists believe that it crossed over into humans from coronaviruses circulating among animals in the Wuhan province of China, possibly in marketplaces where multiple types of wild animal meat are sold. Despite the fact that many factory farming practices in high-income countries are no more hygienic, misconceptions persist that Chinese marketplaces are fundamentally unclean, and even that this uncleanliness is representative of the eating habits of all Chinese communities. Public figures, including former U.S. President Donald Trump, have referred to SARS-CoV-2 by derogatory names like the Chinese virus and the Kung flu. The World Health Organization specifically discourages referring to diseases with geographic names because it produces stigma that can endanger people who come from those places. Zoonotic illnesses cross over into humans from time to time all over the world. Safer food handling and animal husbandry practices can limit the risks, and disease surveillance efforts can help identify crossover events and stop pandemics before they start. But denigrating an entire country or culture because of where a virus crossed over doesn't protect anyone and only encourages discrimination and violence. And while the origin of the pandemic may help explain why people of Asian descent are being targeted now, xenophobia is far from new. Previous disease outbreaks have also resulted in anti-Asian discrimination, including the bubonic plague outbreak in San Francisco in the early 1900s, and in the 19th century, the Page Act and the Chinese Exclusion Act singled out Chinese people to prevent them from immigrating to the U.S. Xenophobia may have found a new outlet in fears about COVID, but it runs much deeper. Fortunately, there are resources available to the AAPI community to help address at least some of these issues. The website Safe Walks delegates volunteers to walk with members of the AAPI community for safety. Cali Kai Cab is one of many Instagram accounts pooling funds for AAPI people who cannot afford to use taxis or rideshare apps. I Am Not a Virus and Stand Against Hatred are publishing stories on hate crimes and may be great resources for those who are interested in finding community. Safe from Hate has donated 3,000 handheld alarms that may disorient attackers while drawing attention from bystanders and law enforcement officials. AAPI people can also file civil rights complaints if they are discriminated against while seeking housing, employment, or loans. If members of the AAPI community are interested in finding therapists or counselors, they may find it most beneficial to seek local resources on Psych Central or Psychology Today. These are not easy times, and it may be disheartening for members of the AAPI community who may be feeling alone, scared, or in grief. VirusAnxiety.com has a toolkit for managing mental health during COVID and has wonderful sections related to meditation, coping with xenophobic hate, financial and relationship-related anxiety, as well as expert help. You can also visit our video on health and well-being for more information. There are also many ways others can be good allies to the AAPI community. For example, bystanders who witness a hate crime or an instance of harassment can use the 4 Ds of bystander intervention: direct, distract, delegate, and delay. A bystander can directly address the aggressor and ask them to stop, create a distraction that interrupts the harassment, ask others in the vicinity for help, or check in with the victim afterwards to see if they need additional assistance and let them know they're not alone. Not all of these strategies will be safe or helpful in every encounter. The right strategy depends on what's going on and who's involved. We'll include more resources in the episode description if you want to learn more about bystander intervention. Race-based hatred and violence is always wrong, and there is no place for it in public health. We at COVID Corps will continue to support the AAPI community and condemn hate crimes and harassment in all their forms.